everybody. Welcome to Pushing Buttons, that Geek Freak show that's all about video games, and mostly about video games, but we're going to say it's all about video games. And I'm Kevin. I don't know how else I usually intro this.
Yes, you are, and I'm Kyle.
Good. I'm glad that we can never have the same intro twice. I think that keeps it fresh. I love it.
I love it too. Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, join us this week. Sit around and just listen. Just open your earballs, because we've got a lot of game reviews we're gonna be throwing at you today. We are doing some quick fire reviews with the caveat that we have 2 minutes to review a game, to explain a game, grade the game, and explain the grade. And we don't know what the games are, because we picked them for each other. We're doing 10 apiece. He picked 10 games for me, and I have 10 games for him. And before we get to all of that goodness, our most recent patron over on Patreon, Mr. Scott, Scott too is our second patron named Scott, but Scott would like to hear your review of Elden Ring. And after that, I'm going to give a review of Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. But let's dive right into Elden Ring.
Okay.
This is I'm gonna say it's not a quickfire review. You have more than 2 minutes,
right?
Just so the people listening know.
Really hard.
Yeah. I
mean, I could probably do it, but yeah, that's too much of a task right there.
Try to keep it to 5, just for.
I'm gonna start my stopwatch just in case.
Okay.
Because I don't want to talk about it for too long.
Okay.
We have a lot to talk about today.
All right, Elden Ring, lay it on me. What you got?
All right, so for those of you who are in the dark, Elden Ring is From Software's magnum opus of a game, and that's all you need to know. It's the quintessential Soulsborne title from Miyazaki. He's the creator of the Souls franchise, and to me, I feel like Elden Ring in particular has done such a tremendous undertaking in trying to refine the Souls formula and refine it, like hone it, really, and deliver an all-encompassing game. Like everything that they learned from making Demon Souls, Dark Souls, the Dark Souls trilogy, mind you, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and they just crammed it into one super game. And it's really, really hard, not to mention like how playing the franchise from the beginning and seeing it grow to this point, like what a journey that was. Like just being able to play these games and see all of that in Elden Ring, like everything. Like you have the cosmic horror of Bloodborne. You've got a somewhat linear story with Sekiro kind of in there as well. And you have the fantasy, the dark fantasy of the Dark Souls trilogy. And you even have like some of the world trait system stuff from Demon Souls in Elden Ring a little bit with the day-night system. And it's just such an incredible game visually. Like the art direction of the game is astounding. Like I lose myself in the game so much looking at vistas in the distance, and it's always breathtaking to behold. And even then, like exploring the world, having it be open world, like this is insanely epic in scope. Like I don't like using the word epic at all because of Epic Games, fuck them, but
Yikes.
Epic, this is an epic game. Like it's beyond epic in my opinion. And the gameplay is so freaking good. Like how you build your character, how you incorporate different discoveries that you uncover with different weapons, how you upgrade them, and the fact that they incorporate gameplay elements from each of the games prior to Elden Ring. Like, they have the fast travel system of Dark Souls 1. You have the shout system from Dark Souls 2 and Covenants. I think Covenants were best done in Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 3, like super detailed gameplay, like bar none. That's the best Dark Souls to play. And then of course you've got like the atmospheric horror that Bloodborne did exceedingly well. And then you just got all of the refinement of the action from Sekiro. And it's all in Elden Ring. Everything that you think you can do in that game, you can do based off of what you as the player wish to explore for yourself. Like you're very much an agent of free will in Elden Ring. And with that being said, I'm getting close to 4 minutes, so I'm going to try and wrap this up. Uh, and not to mention, the horseback combat and all that stuff. That's all new and it's amazing. The only thing I can knock it for is enemy variety because it does repeat a lot. But considering how big the game is, I can give that to them. Like if they had unique enemies for every single place, oh my god, it's like game of the century. But this is game of the decade for sure. And I can't give it an S plus or an S because this is Geek Freaks' system. So I give it an A plus. It's honestly a perfect game.
I just wanted to clarify because this is Geek Freaks, you can't give it an S because a teacher wouldn't give a student an S. I just wanted to clarify that. It's a letter grade like you get on a report card, not a tier ranking system. But that being said, this is your highest ranked Souls-like game, right?
Oh, by far. Like aside from Bloodborne, it is easily the best Souls game. I would put Bloodborne as my number one, but the problem is it's limited to PS4.
Yeah.
And I can't play it on PC at 60 frames per second. Otherwise, that'd be like by far the best non-Elden Ring game. But it's a must play, in my opinion. Everyone should play it. Everybody has to play it. Not because of what it is, but because of what it teaches you as the player of how you play a game. And that's what I love most about it. Like it encourages you to break beyond whatever's holding you back from whatever challenge you're facing. And you can approach things in so many different ways in this game. Like it's just nothing else is compared to it, in my opinion.
So you said A or A plus?
A plus.
Okay.
I mean, I would give it like A plus 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 plus, but that's
A plus it is. Nice. All right.
And that's it. Yep. Great game. Go play it.
Well, I've been playing Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. I love, you know what? I'm going to start a timer too, just in case.
There you go.
I love the Lego Star Wars games of the past. Like Lego Star Wars, the first one that came out was the first Lego game that was, it might have been the first Lego game of this style where you're going through level to level to level, collecting studs and unlocking mini kits and getting special bricks to unlock other characters and et cetera, et cetera. The old school Lego games didn't have any written dialogue or any spoken dialogue rather. They were just mumbles and you could kind of get what everybody's getting at with dialogue.
So like Jawas, right?
Kind of. It was more emotes and like her, okay. Like that. Sorry, I kind of
I threw you off there, didn't I?
A little bit, yeah. This game is fully voiced. There is a mumble mode, but all the dialogue in this is not. Most of it is not taken from the movies. It is re-recorded with new voice actors and with new inflections and kind of some more humor added to it. My biggest drawback with this game, I hate starting off with the negative, but it seems to have lost a lot of what makes the Lego game special. It doesn't have as much like soul to it. It seems like the levels are just there to power through the story of each movie in order to unlock characters that you actually want to play as. It's got all the 9 mainline Skywalker movies in it, episodes 1 through 9. The DLC from if you get the deluxe edition, which I did because with the deluxe edition, it's the same price as a normal full price game at $60 on Steam. You get the Mandalorian kit, you get from some of the other TV shows, and there's going to be more coming out, like the Bad Batch and stuff, as playable characters in this. The there's 5 levels for each movie, and they're pretty bad. Like I don't care for the main levels. Like they just skip through the story so fast and only hit like the major plot points. But it's in between the levels that the game actually shines the best, because there are open like hub areas and you can go to space. They kind of present it as an open world game. It's not open, it's hub based, but every planet you go to has a big hub, at least one, if not multiple big hubs for you to explore and do other collectibles as a way to go to the main story levels. But you can also go into space and collect stuff from like the Kyber brick comets that are in the sky, shoot them down, you get the unlockable bricks. There's a lot of unlockables in this game, and that never bores me. The Lego games are my favorite version of a collectible, like a collectathon style game. This game does, like I said, it hits all the points of the movies, but it powers through them pretty quickly. I have not finished as of this point with the main story. I am almost done with episode 7. I started off at 1 and went through. So I've done the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. And I got to say, the prequel trilogy seems like they just kind of powered through the levels on that. They didn't seem very well designed. There was so much less dialogue going on. The original trilogy really shines in this. Like, they put a heavy focus on the original trilogy and remaking Lego Star Wars 2, essentially, because that was the original trilogy. For this, like, all the levels are completely redesigned. Nothing's rehashed from the prior Lego Star Wars games. It's all brand new content. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. I would probably give it a B-, because, like I said, the collectathon stuff is very fun. The characters, there's tons and tons and tons of characters and unlockables and secrets, and the hub worlds are fun to explore and talk to different NPCs that are around. It's just the levels themselves, especially in the prequel trilogy, the story mode levels are not fun to me.
Okay, I can kind of see that. I feel like your main complaint is the lack of charm in the game.
Yeah, it has a lot to be desired in that aspect compared to the original Lego Star Wars game specifically.
No, very good.
Nice. All right.
Was that 5 minutes?
That was like 4.5.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
All right. I am going to have you start off. I'm going to give you a game to review for a quick fire. That's how we're going to start this off. But we're moving on now.
First?
Yeah, because I just did that one, so we're just going to...
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
Pass it off to you.
Here we go.
I really regret not having water for this, for when I'm going. But without further ado, Kyle, I would like for you to give me your review of Star Wars Republic Commando.
All right. Republic Commando was a really awesome Star Wars licensed game. It was a first-person shooter, and it was squad-based. So what really set it apart from other games like it is the fact that the presentation for the game was super immersive and atmospheric. It's been a long time since I played it, but I really recall liking it a lot when I first did. I would give it a solid B+. And the reason why that is just for the reasons I already mentioned, as well as what it meant to me growing up as a Star Wars fan. It really diversified itself by moving away from the Jedi Sith focused conflict. And it started to really expand what the rest of the Star Wars universe can offer in regards to entertainment. And this is why I love properties like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett so much. Like, I just feel like there's so much more potential for Star Wars to branch out and just really go into huge detail about the politics of the world and how society operates in that world. And we've seen so much shit with goddamn Tatooine. It's like, enough is enough already. I've had enough of it. It's too much. And, you know, we got glimpses of this in Mandalorian where, God, in the Book of Boba Fett, the best episodes were with Mando when he was on that awesome, like, I don't know what the hell it's called, what planet it was now. But that intro sequence where he's like in a fish butcher shop or whatever. That was fucking awesome. And anyway, I'm getting away from the game now. But the game was a lot of fun because it was so different. And 10 seconds left. I'm going to stop there.
Nice. So B plus is what you said?
B plus. Yes.
Nice. Kyle, Star Wars Republic Commando, B plus.
And it's on Xbox and Steam.
I think it's on Switch and stuff now too. It's probably on a lot of other shit now.
It is, yeah. I'm sure it's imported to hell and back.
Yeah.
But great game. Thank you. That was a good one.
All right. What you got for me?
All right. I'm going to try and make an easy one for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
Okay. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is a spin-off of the first-person shooter Far Cry 3 that took it to a wild extreme, put it in like a sci-fi 80s movie, essentially, with all the bro memes that you could ever want. Colorful purples and blues and oranges all over the place. The guns were awesome. Dragons, fucking mechanical dragons in this game. It is the epitome of what Far Cry should have been. Less focused on like seriousness and deep storytelling. That being said, I love Voss from Far Cry 3, but just take some of the seriousness out of it. Put in this wacky futuristic-esque style environment, and just let people explore and take over the different fortresses or whatever. Man, I'm gonna give that game. Shit, this is hard. I'm gonna give that an A.
That should have been easy.
I only am not giving it an A plus because I wanted more after playing it. But the music in that game, the sound effects in that game, the fortresses were all varied enough. The difficulty was not too bad, and you could raise it, lower it, however you wanted. Man, it is the perfect style of game for like a Far Cry style game. It's the perfect version of the Ubisoft game, in my opinion. It's the best one. Man, 2 minutes might be too long for this because I'm already 90 seconds and
it was kind of hard, yeah.
I'm pretty much done, but yeah.
That's fine.
Fucking A. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, A.
I give it an A too. Like, what I love about Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, aside from what you already said about it, is it was such a great length. Like, it was just the perfect length. It didn't wear out its welcome, and compared to other Far Cry games, it just was so unique and diverse.
Are we giving reviews? Are we giving reviews for the other person's game too?
No.
Oh, you just did.
I really
you just fucking did. All right. Well, I give Star Wars Republic Commando a B plus.
Okay, we'll try and hold back, but I just had to gush about that. I love that game.
All right, I'm gonna
Okay.
change this up a little bit, and Kyle, I want you to give me your review of Portal.
All right, Portal. I actually mentioned this in my Timeless games. I didn't get to talk about it though. Portal is a first-person shooter puzzle platformer that Valve made specifically for Steam, but it came out in Orange Box. I think that's how it premiered actually.
Yeah.
Was Orange Box on the 360. And Portal is essentially a really quick game, but it can take longer based on how you approach the puzzles in the game. And you have a portal gun. You shoot a blue one and an orange one, and you have to kind of, figure out how to make objects move, or how to place cubes on buttons, or how to traverse the environment as well. And essentially, it was just a really amazing new property from Valve, and it was just phenomenal. I have to give Portal an A, and mainly the reason for that is because of how revolutionary it was for first person in general. Like, we got a lot of shooters in that time, and Portal really set itself apart by being strictly a puzzle game. And it was a damn good puzzle game. Like, the solutions that you would figure out on your own were so satisfying to reach. And not only that, but in the source engine, the physics based puzzles that you had to navigate through just led to an overall amazing experience. And of course, all the memes that came out of it as well. were highly enjoyable. So yeah, Portal would definitely get an A from me for sure.
Did you ever
And that
find
was
out if the cake was a lie?
I did.
Okay,
I did. I beat the game. It
cool.
took me that first playthrough was great. Like because I remember asking you for help and you were like, "Nah, you gotta figure it out on your own."
Yeah.
And eventually I did, and it was like, "Aha!" It's those moments that made it really enjoyable.
Yeah, damn good game.
Nice, very good. Did you want to review it too?
No, we don't need to do that. We can
Okay,
have these on each other's lists next time or some other future time.
okay. All right, are you ready?
I am. Lay it on me.
So these are going to get, progressively harder over time,
Uh-oh.
but I'm still in the easy section for you. And I feel like this is a cakewalk. So I want to hear your quickfire review on Spelunky.
Spelunky is a procedurally generated platforming dungeon crawler roguelike. That sounds convoluted, but it's a very simple game. You get into the game, get to the bottom of the level, go to the next level. It's got some wacky physics. The cartoon style of art to it is very appealing, and I think it'll hold up. It's going to be a timeless game of sorts. The sound effects are all very what they need to be to get the job done. Shit, man, that game is so good. I'm gonna give it absolutely an A+. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It's the game that got me back into video games when I started losing faith in what video games would become. I stopped playing new games for a while until I found I was looking actually for I just wanted to play Sonic again. That's what it was. I wanted to play Sonic the Hedgehog. And I started going down the YouTube rabbit trail, and this is before Let's Plays were a big thing, and found some guy named Northern Lion playing Spelunky. And I still watch that dude to this day because of it. He's the one that got me into The Binding of Isaac because I started watching his other videos after watching his Spelunky videos. And from there, man, Spelunky's just been one of my favorite all-time games. It's adorable. It's hard as fucking hell.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about it is that the difficulty does not reflect on how the game looks. Like appearances are very deceiving in that respect. But you know what you're getting into by the time you beat the first section of the game? Each section is 4 levels, and they get progressively harder and harder until the boss. And then there's a secret ending with a secret end boss that, man, it's so good. A+ for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, it says a lot, like to your tenacity and how much you've conquered that game. Like, I really commend you for that.
100% of that game, and that had some hard achievements.
Yeah, like that takes extreme patience. Like, I really applaud you for that.
Well
Done.
On that note, Kyle, I would like for you to give me your quickfire review of Jump King.
Fuck. The game. Basically, Jump King is a platformer where you only are given one thing to do, and that is jump. However, the developer of this game decided to make these jumps extremely hard to make, and the gameplay is super frustrating in a good way because you have only one ability, and you can choose which direction to jump, of course. But the complexity of the game is how long you hold the jump button for, because you can, extend your jump by holding it down for like a second, or you can do like a mini small jump by just tapping the button real fast. And these levels are so hard to progress in because if you make one fucking mistake, you're gonna fall flat on your ass, on your face, in all other positions at the bottom, and you have to make all that progress all over again. It's an A.
Yes.
I really need to go back and play that game. It's been too long. I streamed it for a little while on my personal channel, and I probably should revisit that again. It is a really well done game. Like, just for the content alone and how streamers made it popular, that's how I learned of the game. And seeing their reactions to it, I was like, okay, this actually looks like a worthy challenge. And dear God, it is. I want to one day 100% the game. and I'm looking forward to when that happens.
Nice. I want to commend you to finishing that game. At least
I beat the original.
Yeah,
Yes.
I you hadn't beaten the DLC last time I
The
saw.
DLC. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still working on the DLC. Yeah.
Man, I could never play that game. I don't think I ever will. It's
Easily one of the best. Like I love Celeste getting to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
But holy shit, Jump King was like a triumph.
well,
I felt
Celeste
like a god.
Celeste, you have full control over what you're
Yes.
doing. Jump King intentionally limits what you're in control of, like you were saying with the specific sizes of jumps, and you can't walk in that game. You just jump.
Nope. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't walk at all.
Yeah. Only jump.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. Good choice. I like that one.
Nice. All right. What's the
Well-
is this my number 3?
This is your number 3.
All right, what you got?
And I'm going to give you a fun one
Okay.
because I know you feel so strongly about it.
Uh-oh.
I want to hear your quick fire review on Aliens Colonial Marines.
Oh. I actually don't have super strong opinions on this one. Aliens Colonial Marines. Okay, I'm going to turn out to have very strong opinions. I'm guessing just by how I'm starting to say this.
There it is.
It is a first-person fuck-up that was made by Gearbox, and then they tried shoveling it off to some other... they like pieced it out and had other companies do bits and pieces of it to compile this dog shit pile of dog shit that was supposed to be a first-person shooter with like very atmospheric in the Alien universe. And man, like the first trailer of this game was just like, man, this game's going to be awesome. I actually rewatched all the Alien movies after I saw the trailer for this game, and then pre-ordered Colonial Marines based on the hype for it. And because of this colossal pile of dog shit, I'll say again, I won't trust Gearbox again. And then I played Tiny Tina's never mind. Different topic, different time. Gearbox, I can't trust them anymore. And it doesn't help that Randy Pitchford's a piece of ass. Not in the good way either. Yeah, this game gets... I can't give it a Z. The game did have guns that you got to shoot, so I'm not going to give it an F-, but
minus.
I'm not giving it an F-.
That's a real thing?
I'm going to give it an F+ because the gunplay existed and was okay. The level design would have been great if the atmosphere allowed for it to be. Dog shit. Thank you. That was fun.
I was hoping for. I thought that would let out some pent up feelings.
Oh man, I don't think I put
cool.
any games that you dislike on here. Okay, well fuck it. No, you haven't played that one enough. All right.
I can try it.
No, it's all right. I want you to review Jade Empire.
Oh my goodness. Jade Empire, BioWare's follow-up to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. A Western RPG set in Asian culture, and you basically role-played as a martial artist. And you were raised by your master. I don't remember his name, so I'm going to call him Sifu. And Sifu, he kind of guided you in the way of the fist. And you have to go out into the world and defeat... I can't remember the goddamn name of the enemy now, but it was like an evil empire. Go figure. Just like Knights of the Republic. And, as you're going out into the world and venturing, you collect a party of fellow martial artists with their own style of fighting. And the game is overall just really fun to play. Like, just, such a different style to Knights of the Republic. I would grade it a B. And the reason for that is mainly due to the story. It wasn't anything memorable, really. But I did have fun exploring the world and fighting in the world. Like, I felt like my character... I chose a martial artist that focused on fists. I didn't really use weapons. And I always remember, whenever I would use 1,000 cuts, because he'd always announce it. And I had a great time, especially one of my favorite quest lines in the game was the arena. and fighting through all the opponents in that city. Like that was really fun. And I feel like that deserves another look. I feel like that could really deliver a promising sequel if BioWare gave another shot. But as we all know, BioWare sucks now. So that's Jade Empire.
What did you give it? I already don't remember.
A B.
Nice.
A B. Yeah.
Cool.
Really fun game though.
Yeah, I miss when BioWare took chances like that. I really do. That game.
That's why I liked the most about it.
It was a
different.
surprise. It was like,
Yeah.
when it was announced, it was like, wow, BioWare's stepping out of licensed territory and making their own IP.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Very
the
cool.
moderate success to it is what led to them thinking they could do a trilogy like Mass Effect, which exists.
Well, fuck it. I want your quickfire review on Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect 3 was the third game in a trilogy that I loved the first one of and hated the second one of. Mass Effect 3 kind of took it a little bit more back to its RPG shooter roots while still having a better gunplay mechanic than the first game, but more RPG elements than the second one. Continued the story of Commander Shepard in a more meaningful way than Mass Effect 2 did, because Mass Effect 2 really, it was like a massive side quest, was the entirety of Mass Effect 2, with a very unfulfilling boss at the end. Mass Effect 3 was supposed to be this culmination of all the choices that you made throughout Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and then the remainder of Mass Effect 3. And all your choices were supposed to come to a head at the end and have major repercussions for how the game ends. Game came out. You could choose basically a Paragon or a Renegade, a good or a bad option. That was it. They added a third option as DLC due to fan outcry later on. I never played it because the ending was the biggest cop-out in my opinion in video game history. Like, I don't even recall movies or TV shows having this big of a cop-out ending where all your choices that you made throughout only ever impacted dialogue in Mass Effect 3. It didn't impact anything. The game ends the same way relatively no matter what. Like, the Reapers are going to fuck shit up. And it doesn't even matter by the end of it, because you find out at the end of Mass Effect 3 that it's all controlled by this AI who's personified as the child, essentially, and it's just this kid hologram that's running the AI, that when civilization gets to a certain point, they get wiped out. Cool story that could have ended very, very well, but ended up being dog shit. C.
And your letter?
C.
C. Okay.
I had
like went in a different
0.5
order there.
I did because I forgot to give it a grade, and then realized that when I had half a second left that I needed to give it a grade.
I was waiting. I was like, oh no, he's running out of time.
That was hard to get into 2 minutes. That was really hard.
I agree. If you'd like, I can also take 2 minutes on it.
Not today. Well, that'll be another quickfire review for another time.
Sure.
Well, shit. I'm gonna do it to you now. I hope you played this. If not, then we'll have to go with another one.
I'll try.
I would love to hear your review of Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, I have played it.
Nice.
Yes. Final Fantasy 13, of course, it's the long-running franchise that we all know and have at least played one game of, I would imagine, of the JRPG. And yeah, 13 was hyped, insanely hyped, as like the next echelon of Final Fantasy. It was not that. It really was not that. Basically everything that 12 did well, Final Fantasy took and just did the opposite of. So 12 had these big sprawling linear maps, but they felt huge, and they had a really complex gambit system, and you could control your character's AI automatically by determining yourself how you want them to be manipulated. What Final Fantasy 13 does wrong is it takes those big sprawling open world maps and shrinks them down to linear hallways, and it makes the combat automatic. Like, you basically just sit there with your controller in hand and just watching the screen like this and just waiting for it to be over. It was really bad. I would give Final Fantasy 13. This is really generous, but I'm going to give it a C.
Ooh.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 13 killed Final Fantasy for me until I played Final Fantasy 14 and loved the franchise again. And the characters sucked, man. The story sucked. It had all these stupid nouns that made no fucking sense. And it's really shitty because I heard 15 is just more the same of 13, and that's it.
Well, Final
That's it.
Fantasy 13, we will see you later.
Thank you. That was great. God, man, I don't want to take more time, but fuck that game. Seriously.
It was really funny. Oh, sorry, go for it.
It had 2 unnecessary sequels.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds really funny that you said that Final Fantasy 13 killed Final Fantasy for you until Final Fantasy 14, which makes it sound like, oh yeah, Mass Effect 2 killed Mass Effect for me until Mass Effect 3 came out. But for Final Fantasy, there was 13.2 and 13.3. So, well, 13.2 and then Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns. I don't think it was called 13.3.
I have no idea why those were a thing. Like, I just do not get it.
They were popular probably in Japan would be my guess because they kept making that sub-series into its own thing.
Honestly, that era of Squaresoft or Square Enix was the worst. Like, they made really shitty games. And it wasn't until 14 Reborn that, hope was restored again.
14
and they
sucked.
Actually pumped out good games.
14 originally sucked, but that's another topic for another time.
It did. And again, it has to do with specific leadership, like changing at that company for it to get better. Anyway, yeah, enough time on that. Good choice.
All right. What you got for me? This will be my fifth one, right? That's number 5?
Fifth one.
Number 5.
Yep. All right. This is kind of interesting. Like, I feel like we don't really talk about open world games much anymore.
I disagree entirely.
We don't talk about Ubisoft anymore.
Oh, okay.
Although we just kind of did with Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
We talk about Ubisoft every episode, but go on.
Anyhow, I would like your quick fire review on Assassin's Creed 3.
I didn't play it.
Assassin's Creed 4.
Okay. My quick fire. I can try Assassin's Creed 3. I played it for like probably 4 hours. But I didn't play it much. Okay. I'll do
if you don't want to do it, it's okay.
I'll do Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag then. If that's your second choice.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was the best Assassin's Creed game I think that ever happened. It is Assassin's Creed in the fact that it's an open world game where you're an assassin in a guild of other assassins that are trying to stop the Templars or the Knights Templar from taking over the world. The secret like Illuminati style combat, like it's a whole long backstory to it that I'm not going to explain right now. But all you need to know about this one is that you're an assassin pirate, which is fucking awesome. You got a ship. The ship combat was really fucking cool. It was the coolest thing in Assassin's Creed to happen in a very long time. Set it apart from the franchise, everything before it. And every game that's come after it has had some form of naval combat because of what Assassin's Creed 4 brought to the table. It was a really cool game. I lost hope in Assassin's Creed after number 3. I played 4 and loved it years after it came out. And because of that, I have played a couple of them that have come out since. I'm going to give Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag an B+. I'm going to give it a B+.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a solid it was a very good Assassin's Creed game, a very good game for Ubisoft. We all know how much I love Ubisoft. It was fun. It was the most fun I've had with Assassin's Creed ever. And it allowed me to feel like I could play Origins and then Valhalla. Odyssey was bad. I didn't play Unity or Syndicate or any of those other shitty ones that came in between. But yeah, Assassin's Creed 4, B+.
Yeah. The reason why I picked 3 is because it was the same for me. Like, I played it through completion. I didn't know you only played 4 hours of it. Yeah. I thought you did play through it.
Oh no, I couldn't. It was bad.
It was really bad. And honestly, if Robert was still a member of our podcast, I would have given this Assassin's Creed 3 to him as well.
Yeah.
Because I have no fucking idea how he loves that game.
Yeah.
I really don't.
either.
I
don't
really
get
do
it.
not understand. Like, Robert, if you want to come on, please, well, you're welcome anytime.
Yes, sir.
But I'm glad you played. I didn't know you didn't play Black Flag until much later after it came out.
Oh, yeah,
I thought you played it on release.
Oh no, God no! I couldn't play Assassin's.
Okay.
I never would have played Assassin's Creed again if 4 didn't happen, and I didn't play it until years later on the PC. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Great game. I would have given it an A myself, but I respect it.
All right, Mr. Kyle.
Mr. Kyle. What's up, Mr. Kevin?
I want you, because I think Frank will enjoy it, to review Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, this is a great choice. I just bought this yesterday in our retro game hunt. Or shit. Anyway, this comes out much later.
Yeah.
Anyway, Vale, look behind the curtain there. Diddy Kong Racing was basically Rare's answer to Mario Kart 64. And what they did was they took several of its IPs like Conquer and Banjo Kazooie, and then added a whole bunch of other anthropomorphic animals in the game. And yeah, it was a great kart racer. It was really fun. What it did really well was it built upon the foundation that Mario Kart 64 set by making each of the tracks a part of like a bigger world with a hub in the center. And you could actually drive to each of the tracks, and you felt like it was a real living, breathing world. Like, it was really bizarre at the time. Like, there was really nothing else like it. I think they took a lot of that from Banjo, actually, and they incorporated that into the racing style. Not only that, not only are there carts, but there's hoverboats, and airplanes, and that was fucking awesome. Like, holy shit. And there were boss battles in the game that you had to race against to win. And overall, it was a fucking fun game. I'm probably looking at this through nostalgia a lot because I haven't played it in recent times. It's an A. It's an A because it did so much differently with the kart formula. And we haven't really seen a lot of that since then, as far as I know, like with Crash Team Racing or the Sonic racing games. So they did a phenomenal job on the game.
Nice.
Indeed. That was a good one.
It was my favorite racing game on the 64. And there were a lot of good racing games on the 64.
I am looking very much to playing it again.
I want to hear from you whether or not you think it holds up at some point.
I will.
I can't wait.
I'll definitely. I'll let you all know on the Discord.
Nice.
For sure.
Nice.
But
all right.
Be sure to check that out, by the way, listeners.
Good
the
shout.
Discord channel.
Link in the description below. I pointed at my lap, not for any particular reason, except that my lap is lower than my hand. So down below.
This is number 6 now?
This would be my number 6, yes.
All right. This is kind of a follow-up to last week's episode. And you mentioned a game that was timeless. And I want to hear your thoughts on this sequel. Quickfire review of KOTOR 2.
Well, I'm going to take KOTOR off my list for you, for now.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm glad I chose Republic Commando instead.
Yeah, that was good.
All right. Knights of the Old Republic 2 was Obsidian's follow-up to BioWare's critically acclaimed Knights of the Old Republic. I don't remember much of the story. Like, the story wasn't that memorable. I remember I remember Freya. Freya was her name? Kreia. Yeah. I remember her. I don't remember very many of the characters in that game. It wasn't a super memorable game. It kind of, to me, it dumbed down what the first KOTOR did. The writing wasn't as solid. The story wasn't as memorable, obviously. The characters, I don't remember any of them besides Kreia.
Wow.
I don't remember a single one of them besides Kreia.
Okay.
All I remember of that game was how easy it was. Because you could just level up Force Lightning to get Force Storm and just everything. Just you stand into a middle of just all the enemies, just Force Storm everywhere. Fuck, dude. After comparing it to Knights of the Old Republic is doing it a disservice because it is a serviceable game. It's I mean, the graphics were the same as KOTOR. The sound and all that stuff hold up. It's nowhere near as good as KOTOR. I'm gonna give it a C minus.
Wow.
I would never replay KOTOR 2. I have no drive to do that. I don't want to. I will never watch anybody play KOTOR 2 again. I don't care about it. I remember kind of almost having fun with it when I played it when it first came out on the original Xbox. But no, I don't think it was that good.
I actually really liked it. And I myself, I would have given it a B. But I felt like it did the planets a lot better. Like, each of the different planets you visited were more memorable to me than the original.
Yeah, but if you're going through memorable planets, but you're not remembering anything you're doing, it's not worth it.
True, yeah. I felt like also Kreia was a good villain.
Yeah.
Compared to Malik. I mean, Malik was good, but I felt like Kreia was more complex.
Malik was a very cookie-cutter Star Wars villain, which I appreciate for it being in a Star Wars game. Kreia they were taking some chances with the story there and with her, and I don't think it paid off for me personally. I didn't care for it, but
no, that's fair. No, I really liked hearing your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Nice,
good one.
It's a good one to you. It was your idea there.
I was complimenting myself there.
Okay, cool. All right, here's your seventh one, Kyle.
I'm ready.
I'll give you a fun one. I'd like for you to review Geometry Wars 2.
Oh wow, the second one.
Well, the first one was the first one. Hold on, I'll just stop you right there.
Reset. Okay.
Yeah. The first one was really just a mini game in Project Gotham Racing. Geometry Wars 2 was the big one that we played all played on the Xbox 360.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm ready. I'm gonna start. Yeah, Geometry Wars 2, massive Xbox Live arcade game, and what it did really well was it took the 3D aspects of graphics at the time and really made it vibrant and colorful, and it was really fun to play because of how everything looked and sounded. Like, it was so fun to blow up shit in that game. And this was at a time when indie games were still at their infancy, I feel like, before they blew up to how big they are today. And I think Geometry Wars 2, compared to the original, which I never really played, it just expanded upon that foundation and brought it to a much larger audience. And what I think sets it apart as well from other games like it is just the overall presentation of it. Like, just simple polygons, geometry. I mean, that's in the name. It's simple geometric shapes. But each geometric shape has its own enemy type or its own design. You'll have like enemies that come in just as single shooters, or you even come in like ones that split into multiple enemies, and then you have like the long snaky caterpillar ones. Like, I don't really know what else to say. It's a fun game for what it was at the time. I'd probably give it a solid B. Just because of, it's a simple concept. It's just shooting the shit out of stuff and trying to survive as long as possible.
I would personally rate it higher just due to the memories of like trying to score chase against like all of my friends back in those days. We'd always go for the top leaderboard position on my Xbox, and that was actually the most competitive I've probably ever been in my life was with Geometry Wars 2.
Really? I thought it was Peggle.
No, Peggle is more for fun. There was some competitiveness
for me,
to it.
That was Peggle.
Okay.
That was Peggle.
Yeah, Peggle was
I remember
great,
that fondly. Yes.
Geometry Wars was, man, it was just so good. And Geometry Wars 2 is the best version of it. There is a third one that they released on Steam, and it is nowhere near as fun. I
never played the third one.
Yeah, it came out 2013, 2014, so it was a lot later.
Okay. Are we on your number 7 now?
I believe so.
So 3 more. I gotta really think about. Actually, no, 4 more.
Yeah.
Technically, 4 more. Well, I don't really have anything to tie into Geometry Wars, so I'm kind of just going a totally different direction here.
Okay.
I want to hear your thoughts on the original Binding of Isaac, the Flash version.
The Binding of Isaac, the Flash version was the first kind of like hardcore dungeon crawler I ever played. I started playing that around the same time I played Spelunky. They're very, very different games, whereas Spelunky is a dungeon crawler where you're trying to get to the bottom of the floor as fast as you can. Isaac is more... It's a top-down shooter where you're playing as a baby trying to escape from his mom, and you're killing enemies by crying on them. Uh, it's got a lot of biblical references. It's got a lot of like the backstory of the developer's childhood in the game. Edmund McMillan is a fucking genius when it comes to how to take what's in his brain and show it to the world. His artistic style is like no other. He's turned The Binding of Isaac into a pixelated version of the game called Rebirth, and that has had so many more expansions and updates to it. There's a card game. He's integrated Meat Boy to some extent with it. He can't so much anymore because he's not part of Team Meat, but that's neither here nor there. All of his other creations are somehow within The Binding of Isaac, and it doesn't hold up after playing Rebirth because it's just not as good. The frame rate's not there. The item count's not there. The enemy variety isn't quite there. It doesn't have all the different endings, but it still does have a ton of endings. It got me into roguelikes. I would give the Flash version of Binding of Isaac probably a B-. Okay. There were a lot of easy ways to accidentally break the game in a way that you just couldn't continue playing. And yeah, I don't think you could... You couldn't save a game. I don't think you could save the game in the middle of a run. You'd have to start over if the game crashed, which really took it. Like, if you broke the game, it was kind of hard to come back from that. And Flash is a very finicky engine to run on. So, yeah, whatever grade I said, I'm going to stick with that. I don't remember what I said. I'm going to stick with a B-.
Yeah, for me, I would give it a B+. Very similar to you. I love the game. Like how you were with Spelunky with Northern Lion. That was man versus game and Binding of Isaac. Like, he's the reason why I played the game to begin with. And I 100% of that Flash version, and I loved every second of it. Like, never played anything like it before. I wish I could get into Rebirth. I really do, but I just know, like, it's just not the same because I've already gone through that the first time with the OG version. So, really cool.
Yeah, nice. All right. Number 8 for you, Kyle.
Number 8. I'm ready.
I would like for you to review Bioshock 2.
Oh, I love this choice. Okay, freaking amazing game. Okay, the biggest thing Bioshock 2 did from the original and why it did it so much better is because it let you not have to swap between plasmids and weapons. It lets you use both at the same fucking time. It's a groundbreaking concept, but it made the game so much fucking better. And it's like, that sucked. Like, I can't imagine replaying Bioshock after Bioshock 2 lets you use both at the same time.
Right.
And my God, it's like Ken Levine. Granted, Bioshock is a great game. Like, I'm not knocking Bioshock at all, but it speaks volumes where Bioshock 2 has much better gameplay and much better level design too. Like, it is such a seamless game. Like, it was more like System Shock 2 than Bioshock was. And Ken Levine didn't even touch Bioshock 2 because he was so far up his own ass making Bioshock Infinite. And don't get me started on that game. Holy fuck. Bioshock 2 is an A. And the reason why it's not an A+ is because System Shock 2 exists. And, you know, looking back on it fondly, like, the DLC for it was easily some of the best DLC I've ever played. It had such a great story. And I think I'm trying to remember the name. 2K Marin was the studio that developed it. They didn't have anything given to them aside from what was already made from Bioshock 1, and they made that feel like a brand new, fresh sequel. Like, it felt they had such an insurmountable job put before them. And they made a really great game, like, super underrated. And the hacking is way better in Bioshock 2. Bam.
Nice. Man,
I love that. That was great.
I can't believe I picked that one specifically because I know you love it, and it's the one that most people dislike.
I don't get that. It's like,
I don't get how you dislike Infinite. I love that game. Bioshock Infinite was incredible.
I'll give you that. Like Infinite was fun on the first playthrough,
Yes,
but I
that's the
know
only time I played it.
replaying it, I am not ever wanting to replay that game
Yeah.
because it has nowhere near the amount of player freedom and choice as Bioshock 2 did.
See, I don't think I could replay any of them, any of the Bioshocks. There's no
I mean,
replay value in it for me.
Bioshock 1 is, you know, it's an amazing game, but Bioshock 2 just took that to a whole nother level, and I really give that development team kudos. They knocked it out at the park.
Nice. All right, what you got for me for number 8?
God, I love that choice. That was good. All right.
Good choice. Sorry, I was just appreciating myself there.
Again, I don't have a good segue for this one, but we were talking about it while hunting together. I want your quickfire review of Eternal Sonata.
I will try. I never finished that game. Eternal Sonata was a JRPG that was heavily based on music, specifically from Chopin, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Chopin.
Huh?
Chopin?
I don't think that's how it's pronounced. It's spelled like...
interrupt you. I'm sorry.
It's spelled like Chopin, but I'm pretty sure it's Chopin.
Okay.
Either way, the game is a dream, and he can't escape from this dream. But all of the music in the game is somehow part of the dream, and is how the only thing that I remember about the combat and what made it different is that enemies react different in night time versus daytime. There's a lot of that. It was the first JRPG in that era, in the 360 era, 360 PS3 era, that I like somehow heavily got into, and I don't even know why. And then after playing it for like 3 or 4 days solid, I never touched it again. So I never finished it. I was looking at it while we were out there retro game hunting yesterday, and I was like, man, it'd be fun to pick this up again. I'm gonna have a hard time giving it a grade, but from what I remember of my enjoyment level of Eternal Sonata, I would give that probably a B.
Okay.
I don't think in the vast majority of people that love JRPGs that Eternal Sonata holds up against them. But for me as a non-JRPG player, it got me somehow hooked, and I don't remember why I fell off of it, and I can't explain exactly either. I can't explain exactly what it is, but I can't explain why I started playing it to begin with and how it hooked me. So yeah, go with the B.
I think B's a good grade. I think what separated itself was that distinction of like having music as a basis for the world. That was really intriguing.
Yeah.
That was a good poll.
Did you just congratulate yourself again?
No, I meant like it was a good poll into the world of the game.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was a good music poll for this list.
No.
Right.
I thought you played more of it, but that's okay.
Most of what I played was that day that I took it to your house, I think, way back when.
Oh, yeah. I do. That's how I remember it, actually.
Nice.
I never played it.
All right, this one will be a good one for you. I know you loved this game, but I never played it, and I want to hear why you loved it. Kyle, give me your quickfire review of Mirror's Edge.
Oh, Mirror's Edge. Oh, this is great.
And I'm giving you the first one, for specifically Mirror's Edge 1.
I haven't played the sequel, so
okay.
That's good. I'm going to start my timer now. All right, Mirror's Edge is a first-person narrative-driven game that focuses more on platforming rather than shooting. And this was during a time when EA was actually experimenting and making really unique IPs like Dead Space. And it was such an interesting and really exciting time for EA. Like they were even making like reboots of Syndicate Wars and stuff and such like that. And you know, it was just really fun. Like Dante's Inferno, really cool time for EA. And anyhow, Mirror's Edge focuses more on getting through the environment and running away from enemies rather than trying to take them, you know, immediately in the face through shooting them in the face. This is kind of a hard one to describe. The game was super vibrant and colorful, and I think that's what set it apart so well from the traditional browns and grays we saw with the military shooters. So it really stood out on its own. And overall, The story wasn't really much of anything to write home about. It was very traditional flair. Um, I just had a great time just running around, and the climbing and parkour of the game was really well designed. Like I felt like it was really easy to navigate as a player because everything that you had to go through was colored red. So you were drawn to that color. And I think overall it's just a really well put together game, and especially during the time it was made. Like it was really fun to play. And it was really a breath of fresh air too. I would give Beer's Edge a solid B plus, just for the fact of being so different from what was released at the time. And yeah, that's it. Hmm.
It's good how well that game did because it was so different. It sucks because of how long people were clamoring for a sequel, and then when they got it,
Yeah,
it didn't live up.
yeah. This is when EA went evil again. So understandably.
Yeah. All right, what you got for number 9 for me?
Oh, number 9. I was trying to think of something else that's not already on the list. And there was one game that you mentioned when we were hunting together that I didn't know you played.
I'm hoping you're not going where I think you're going.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
So instead of going with something on my list, I have instead opted to get your quickfire review on Full Spectrum Warrior.
Oh, that is not where I thought you were going. Okay. Full Spectrum Warrior was a Xbox's version of a tactical, like a strategy shooter kind of game. It was you had a squad of guys and you could command them, and sort of, I think the best way to explain it is it's like Rainbow Six if Rainbow Six was like a squad that you control everybody for at once. Think of SWAT, any of those style of games, but it's very army based, like very military based, just doing army military missions. I'm going to say army a few more times. I don't know why I liked it as much as I did. I think I had never really played a strategy game that had the presentation quality of a game like Full Spectrum Warrior, and I think they had a sequel to this game too that I never played, like I almost said 10,000 Fists, but I don't think that's right. That's a Disturbed album. Man, this game was different than anything I had ever played before. The presentation to it was great. I don't remember the story. I'm sure it was a very cookie cutter military army story. There were a lot of military games coming out, but this one wasn't so simulator. It was more strategy, and I don't want to say it was a thinking man's game because not all strategy games are really thinking men games. But yeah, this one wasn't. It was just a lot of fun to just sit down and try to experiment with ways to beat the missions and go on to the next one. I don't remember the graphics being anything to write home about. I'm going to give it a B minus.
Okay.
I think I'll give it a B minus just because it was a fun game that I still remember playing to this day, but I don't remember much about it specifically other than the fact that I enjoyed playing it. So it had to have had some lasting appeal, evidently. And I honestly wouldn't mind going back and trying it again.
Yeah, it really shocked me yesterday when you said you played it and liked it. I was like, I'd never heard of you playing that before.
Yeah,
that was a new thing for me. I was like, that was exciting. Behold.
Maybe we didn't know each other at the time. It was a mutual friend of ours that I think around 8th grade. But yeah, I didn't know you in 8th grade. I wasn't until 9th grade that we met. Yep. But I think in 8th grade or so is when me and our mutual buddy talked about the game a lot, and I think he enjoyed it too, which is I think he is the one that got me into it. So shout out to Andrew. Shout out to him.
Nice.
All right. Oh man, the pressure's on because I've got to pick.
This is the last one, right?
Yeah, and I
got one for you.
I've got 4 on my list, and I got to choose which one I want to give to you. I'm not gonna do that one.
No pressure.
I think I'll go with this one and hold off on the others till later. Yeah, okay. This one, speaking of our mutual friend from high school and earlier.
Oh.
I want to hear your review of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory.
Oh man, holy shit. Start. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Wow. This was the 3rd entry of the Sam Fisher trilogy back on the original PS2, GameCube, Xbox. I think it was on PC too. And stars Sam Fisher. He's a international spy that works for America, and
Doing great so far.
doing well. Yeah, I'm trying. It's a stealth game, and compared to Metal Gear Solid, it's strictly focused on stealth instead of combat, and that was easily its biggest strength. Stealth in general is pretty much a dead genre now, and Splinter Cell was one of the pillars of that genre. So it's really sad to see it not being, reiterated on for current players. And fantastic game. Like the lighting in that game, still one of the best all time games for lighting effects. And Sam Fisher, I love the character of Sam Fisher, voiced by Michael Ironsides. And God, that gravelly voice of Sam's is so sexy. Like I can listen to his voice all day. And the banter he has with Grimm's daughter and Lambert, who are the people who are in charge of giving you mission data and stuff. I love their banter as Sam's like just doing his thing, killing guys in stealth. And oh man, I can't remember too much of the story because it's been so long since I played it. It's an A plus, and the fact that the single player campaign was amazing, and the multiplayer Spies versus Mercs was fun as hell because it was two different playstyles in one multiplayer game. Sam Fisher style, is the spy, first person shooter as a merc, and it was so fun, like the tacticalness of it. A plus. That's 2 minutes. There you go.
Nice. Yeah, that game was so much fun. That was the one with the good co-op too.
I didn't even mention the co-op.
No, you didn't.
We played it together.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man. And I remember back in the day, G4 X-Play had like a little machinima skit that they did with like Bob and Ted.
Bob and Steve.
Bob and Steve.
Bob and Steve.
Okay.
Yes.
As the co-op guys from the Chaos Theories co-op campaign. Man, so many good memories of that game. Like I remember I didn't have Xbox Live on my original Xbox, and I wanted to play this game with our buddy Andrew, who I talked about earlier, online. So I had to connect the Xbox to my computer and have my computer connected to the internet and download this software. I don't even remember what it was. It barely fucking worked, but we got it to work. And man, that was so much fun.
Incredible game. Wow, it's a must play. I think, like for stealth, it's a must play.
Yeah.
If you enjoy anything remotely stealthy, like you have to play it.
100% agree.
Very good.
All right,
Awesome.
The grand
That was my last
finale.
one.
That was my grand finale for you. Let's go with your grand finale for me.
All right. This is going to hit pretty close to home for you,
Uh-oh.
but I'm really curious about it because I've never really seen much of the game, and you had really strong feelings about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts or a quickfire review of Sword of Vermilion.
All right, Sword of Vermilion is a Sega Genesis. I think it was a Western RPG. Shit, I got it sitting right next to me. So if you're watching the video of this is Sword of Vermilion for the Sega Genesis. It was a very, very bad RPG. I have very fond memories of playing it because it was the one RPG I had on the Sega Genesis as a kid, and now as of yesterday, I have it as an adult. Besides on Steam, I have it on Steam as well. There's like different styles of gameplay in it. When you're in a town, it looks like almost like a Super Nintendo top-down, like a Final Fantasy game. But then you exit town, and you've got like 3 different screens. You can see what's in front of the character, like a first-person perspective. Then you have like a top-down version of the map, and then you have your stats. And you're walking around. You can only walk in one direction. And procedurally generated combat. There's caves, there's spells, there's items, there's maps, there's a story to it, kind of an almost a Game of Thrones-y style story to it. I'm gonna give it fuck, I hate this. I'm gonna give it an A. I wanted to give it an A plus just because of my nostalgia goggles for it, but it's not that good of a game. I will be playing it again sometime very shortly, but holy shit. I recommend to anybody listening to this, and especially to you, Kyle, listen to the soundtrack for this game. It is like the epitome of what the Sega Genesis soundtrack and sound chip is capable of. It's the best version of... There might be 1 or 2 other games that had like better soundtracks, but this game had such a deep and like varied soundtrack. The different lighthearted towns that you go to have like very lighthearted and like organ playing music. There's music for the churches, there's music for the caves. It's all atmospheric. It's a fun game. I can't wait to go back into playing this game. That was at the 2-minute mark, so
Well done.
Oh
yeah,
man.
I wish you would stream it, honestly. I would watch, but I know you probably just want to keep that one close to you.
Yeah,
And I totally get that.
I don't know. There's a possibility of like a throwback Thursday thing that I've been kicking around for a little bit, but
Okay, sure. That might be fun down the road for sure.
yeah, that was fun. Holy shit, that was fun.
And I think that's wow, we went a little bit longer there, but I think it was worth it.
Yeah,
that was a good time.
I am definitely wanting to bring this topic back again for another time. This will be the same topic for another time. I think you feel the same way, Kyle.
Oh, 100%. This was a lot of fun. Different dynamic than before. Like, you know, because we reviewed full reviews at the beginning of this episode and then doing the quickfire after. Like, they're both great in their own way.
We might cut them down to 90 seconds, I think, would be the difference, because we had
90
time.
might be better.
We had time left over on a lot of them. So
I did too, yeah.
Let us know. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, when you're ready, we can proceed to the closeout.
Okay. I want to know if there's any games that you want to hear us do quickfire reviews of. Let us know on Twitter and specifically on our Discord server. I know we've talked about it a lot lately, but our Discord channel, the Geek Freaks Network, has a great group of people, us included. We're pretty great over there almost all the time. So yeah, if you want to talk with us, that's the best way to do it. We stream on Twitch from time to time. All the links to everything's down below.
Twitch.tv/Geek Freaks Podcast. I'll be there.
Heck yeah. Kyle's streaming a lot, so he's kicking ass with it.
More Elden Ring.
Nice.
Lots more coming. Yep.
And yeah, that's it. That's all we got for you this week. Join us next week when we talk about another topic for that time, because I don't know what it is yet. But yeah, until then, love you.
Bye-bye.